Hello folks, I'm Spencer and welcome back to Spencer's Bookshelf, the second installment for my YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you could join me today. So today, I will let you know that I'm going to be reviewing a very interesting book. Definitely a different type of book than the ones that we reviewed on the first episode itself. So if you haven't seen the first episode, it's a great episode. I talk about two very different but interesting people from the UK. One of them is David Cameron, who is the former British Prime Minister, and his book For the Record. And I also reviewed Duran Duran's bassist, John Taylor, for his book In the Pleasure Groove, which is also known as Love, Death, and Duran Duran. So today, I'm going to be reviewing a book that I just finished, and it was a very good book. I actually literally just finished it, and I was actually going to do the video tomorrow, but you know what? The book's fresh in my head, and it was a great book. It's Soulful, Simplicity, and it's by Courtney Carver. It's a very good book. It's one where and I'm going to go a bit more into it, but it's a bit about changing how you do things in life. It is about minimizing and has some principles of being a minimalist, but it's not really about that. It's a bit more tangible. And I do think that there's some, when you look at minimalism, it's not always the best thing. It's not, it's something that's a very privileged thing to be able to do. So I don't like to express it based on that, but it is a book about simplifying your life. But before I go into the book review, I just wanted to first say thank you to a bunch of people who have been providing me not only feedback, but support and things like that. I started the YouTube channel earlier this week. It's something I thought about for a while. It's definitely not something that generally you can just start doing. You need to kind of have a plan and things like that. Some people gave me some really good feedback and in terms of production value, things I can do. And I want to actually send a quick couple of shout outs to a few people: Jason, Nicole, Kirk, Mitch, Ruel. There's many others, and I'm gonna miss their names, but everyone's provided me quite a lot of good feedback, and I really appreciate this. My mission is to get people reading again, not only again, but for the future. And I think that myself being a millennial, and people in younger generations, we need to be reading. And the reason is, in order for us to grow as human beings, in order for us to better ourselves as human beings, we need to understand other people's perspectives, and we need to understand other people's thought process. And there's no other way to do that, no other better way to do that than to read. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone who's watched my first episode. If you haven't, please watch it. Also, please subscribe. It means a lot to me if you subscribe. That way you can get some notifications when I do have new videos pop up. And if you have a book that you've written and you want it to be reviewed, please reach out to me. I would love to review your book and potentially do a joint video. And one thing I'll let you know is I will give my honest opinion of the book. I'm not doing it to promote books. I mean, I'm doing it to promote reading. But if you do have a book that you want me to review, and if you want to be on the show itself, let me know and I'll make that happen. So on to Soulful Simplicity. So this book was a great book. So one thing to note is that it talked a lot about how to simplify your life. And it starts with the author, Courtney, sort of going through a very tremendous time in her life. She got out of a really bad relationship. She had a young child, and then she got diagnosed with MS. She was in a situation where her finances weren't in great shape. She had significant stress and a lot of things going on, but through the book itself, she shows how she was able to make a lot of simple and easy changes that made her life a lot better. And I think this is one of those books that it doesn't matter if you've had a big traumatic event that happened in your life or that aha moment in your life. This book is great because it provides a lot of simple, good techniques to make your life a little bit better. And the thing about self-help books is I find it's always like 0 to 100. If you don't do this, if you don't wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, or you're not reading 4 books a month, or you're not doing this and that, that you're unsuccessful. And that's completely ridiculous, with a capital R, ridiculous. Because in all honesty, the little changes that you make and little gradual things to make your life better is what creates sustainability. And without sustainability, you're not going to be better. And that's what this book talks about. And that's what I got out of the book. So some of the key points, she talks about shopping, how a lot of people, I think it's a huge, vast portion of our population, especially in the first world. And when I mean the first world, I mean in countries where we have a middle class and an upper middle class and things like that, we use shopping as a form of therapy. And that's not good. You don't have then control over your lives because you're using the stress of what, so you earn a bunch of money, which causes you stress, and other things in life will cause you stress. In order to release the stress, you spend the money that you made, so you never come out ahead. And I don't mean that in a financial way, I mean that in an emotional way. And that's what this book talks about. It talks about looking at things and rationalizing it. If you're making X amount of money, if you're making $100,000 a year, do you have to live like you're making $100,000 a year? Or can you live like you're making less and be able to enjoy things and maybe retire earlier or work half time once you get older and things like that? Because at the end of the day, it's not about making money and it's not about the hustle and bustle of life. It's about enjoying life and enjoying who you are. And going back to what we're talking about, or what I was talking about just a few minutes ago in terms of how self-help books, they make you go from 0 to 100. The thing is that doesn't make people happy. When you're reading a book, and there's amazing self-help books that you can get tidbits out of that can help you on certain aspects of work, or if you have a goal, like a fitness goal, things like that are great. But if you're following it to a T and you're taking 100% of the information out of it, you're not actually, you're not going to be happy because you're creating yourself crazy expectations. You're giving yourself crazy expectations to do things that don't really render it, it doesn't render it creating happiness. And that's what this book talks about. It's being happy, and how to be happy in a way. One other part of the book that I really, really liked, and this is something that, especially right now with COVID going on, I think we all should take into account. And it's the difference between always feeling FOMO and really being about JOMO. So FOMO is fear of missing out, which I know a lot of people have right now. You're missing your friends, you're missing going to the bar or a patio or a bonfire in the backyard, things like that. And the thing is, the fear of missing out is actually not something that's really the greatest thing. You want to be more at peace with yourself. If you're getting FOMO all the time, you're not necessarily at peace with yourself. You're using things to gain happiness that's not really in your control. So she talks about the concept of JOMO. And JOMO is the joy of missing out. And what that means is instead of going out, instead of always needing to be in the action, it actually talks about the joy of staying home, the joy of not connecting with people, the joy of being one with your own thoughts. And how amazing is that? Like, to have that peace that you don't have to go see people, you don't have to go for drinks with your friends in order to feel happy or even feel satisfied. That's a part of soulful simplicity that I love, and that's why I love this book. I think right now, going through COVID, and we've all been on our own for quite a while, I think JOMO is something that we should all aspire to, and it's something that it doesn't mean that you just miss out on everything, or you don't engage with other people, or you become antisocial. That's not the case. The case is having the internal power to know when to be social, the internal power to say, yes, I should do that, or no, I shouldn't do that. And that's what Soulful Simplicity does. That's what this book talks about. And when I say that's what it does, this book, it kind of moved me, and that's what it did to me. So I give this book a 4.5 out of 5. And it's pretty damn close to perfect in terms of how I see it. It's an easy read. I read it in 2 days, and not over many hours. It took me maybe 6 hours total to read the whole book. The author speaks in a very clear and concise way. The format's really good. Make sure you don't skip to the first chapter. Read the introduction. It's very important in terms of setting the stage for the rest of the book. That's something crucial, but Soulful Simplicity, it's a great book. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to thank you. I'm going to be producing a lot more content, hopefully at a relatively good pace. I want to be able to engage more and more with people, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. And I do highly recommend that if you have an e-reader, or you want to order a book online through one of the booksellers, Soulful Simplicity, it's worth it. Anyways, folks, have a great day. We'll talk soon.